911 Season 8, Episode 11 included the unexpected return of Bobby's mother, but the procedural's frustrating pattern of redeeming bad parents threatens the heart of the series. Peter Krause's Bobby Nash leads the 911 Season 8 cast alongside his team at the 118, Evan, Buck, Buckley, Oliver Stark, Henrietta, Hen, Wilson, Aisha Hines, Howard, Chimney, Han, Kenneth Choi, and Ravi Panikar, Anirudh Pisharidi, previous Proby, who replaces Eddie Diaz, Ryan Guzman, after his move to Texas. While 911 has near-death experiences and high-octane medical emergencies, sometimes the most important storylines involve the characters' lives outside of work. Every member of the 118 has a nuanced backstory that explains what kind of person they are and how they ended up in the LAFD. Some found firefighting after extreme trauma, some stumbled into it, and some, like Bobby, were practically born into it. Yet, for all the intense disasters in 911, the toughest moments to watch throughout are sometimes understated, emotional plots related to a character's very personhood. Bobby especially has had a plethora of harrowing experiences throughout his life, but the relationship with his mother, and Hutchinson, Leslie and Warren, may be one of the most complicated. Bobby's relationship with his mother in 911 explained. We've seen Ann Hutchinson before. And talking to Bobby in 911. 911 hinted at Bobby's familial conflict from the very beginning, but it wasn't until the end of 911 Season 7 that viewers saw more of his childhood. Bobby grew up as the younger son of Captain Tim Nash, John Brotherton, a man revered in the community for his service but reviled for his substance abuse. And, driven by Tim's mistreatment, left in 1981 with her elder son, Charlie, Sean O'Brien. Bobby, who was too young to understand the gravity of the situation, felt compelled to stay with his father, whom he idolized. Consequently, Ann and Bobby's relationship grew strained, even after Tim's death, and never fully returned to Bobby's life. 911 Season 8, Episode 11 reveals that Ann blamed Bobby for choosing to stay with his father when he was a child with no discernment. As Bobby grew up, Ann chose her ministry work over him and traveled the country with Charlie, inadvertently ignoring Bobby. After Bobby accidentally starts a fire that claims the lives of his wife and children, and merely sends a sympathy note. Despite Bobby repeatedly almost becoming 9-1's first main character death, and resolutely keeps her distance until Holy Mother of God. And Bobby's reconciliation continues its bad parent redemption trend in 911. Every member of the 118 prioritized found family for a reason. Although Ann and Bobby are combative throughout 911 Season 8, Episode 11, the procedural forces Bobby to forgive his mother and even go so far as to apologize to her by the end. He could have realized the situation was nuanced and didn't want to abandon him, but 911 should have allowed Bobby to stand his ground for how Ann treated him throughout his adulthood. Within the episode, Ann displays inexcusable behavior, including making a snide remark about the death of Bobby's family. The reconciliation was meant to be a heartwarming moment in 911, but it just feels frustratingly unnecessary. What makes Ann's haphazard martyrdom worse is that she is merely one of many parents in 911 who is presented as an antagonist and then given a futile redemption arc that fails to truly redeem the character. Chimney's father neglected him in favor of his half-brother. Buck had a secret brother in 911 that his parents hid from him, and Eddie's parents forced him to be the man of the house before he was even a teenager. Character backstories make for some of 9-1's best episodes, but they also make the parents feel unforgivable, only to later force superfluous forgiveness. Why 911 needs to start holding its bad parents accountable. Forgiveness should be earned. Members of the 118 saluting in 9-1 Season 3, Episode 16, The One That Got Away. Regardless of these storylines, the real family in 911 is the found family within the 118. By not following through on the bad parent arcs, 911 calls into question the sanctity of its found family and risks cheapening it by extending flimsy olive branches to every blood relative in the show. The best route 911 could take to deepen its characters and resolve their painful pasts is to have the 118 confront their parents or come to terms with their childhood, not forget the decades of hurt and bulldoze into unearned closure. In fact, Eddie's exit in 911 Season 8 presents the perfect opportunity for the procedural to hold some of its worst parents accountable for their actions. Ramon, George Del Hoyo, taught Eddie toxic masculinity, while Helena, Paula Marshall, is emotionally manipulative, and both parents care less about Eddie's mental health than they do about using their grandson, Christopher, Gavin Mayhew, as a second chance at parenting. Now that Eddie has moved to Texas, Ramon and Helena's ulterior motives could come to light if 911 would just commit to its characterizations. Not every character has to be a hero, and that's okay.